Well, hello everyone. See, we got a couple people here already. I'm just a few minutes early to make sure everything is working correctly. Making sure you guys can see me, you can hear me. So we got Mike, we got Simon, and we got Super Shark. How are you guys doing this evening? All right. Guys, let me know if you can hear me and see me and everything is okay, please. Devils in Details is here. All right. Give it a couple of minutes until the top of the hour, and we'll get started. Rythan, how you doing? Thank you guys for letting me know. John, how are you doing? Even the wife is on tonight. Well, she's on all the time, so. All right. So let's while we're waiting on everybody. Simon says, what's everyone got going on in their printers? Mine? Nothing. I have nothing going on. I think I've printed enough for a little while. Rather than doing good, man, everything is all right. It's all good here tonight. All right. Just got a little topic to talk about tonight, and we'll do some Q&A and all kinds of other stuff like we normally do. And we got what? Just another minute or two? All right. Who else do we have? We got 17 people in the chat already. Cool. All right. Hey Ryan, how you doing, man? So I'm sure everybody heard the bad news about Gene Hackman and his wife and dog. Pretty sad thing. Gene Hackman was a great actor. He was he'll always be Lex Luthor to me. And sorry to see something like that happen to him. Very, very sad to hear. He had a lot of great movies growing up as a kid, and man, some really good, powerful roles that he did. And so he was 95, but I don't think he needed to go like that. All right. All right. So it is 7:00, and I guess we'll get started. Quinn, let's see. Did they ever say it was carbon monoxide poisoning for sure? Not the last I heard. The last I heard, they were still investigating it. I think the gas company had said that there was no leak that they were aware of. Before I got on here, I was just kind of reading on some of the updates and everything, but they're still looking at it like as something suspicious. They said they're not ruling out foul play, but it doesn't look like foul play. So hopefully, well, John just said it was determined it was not. Yeah. So who knows, man? Well, I know that they had said that they had been there for a minute. They've been there for a little while. And so they said something about his wife, her feet and hands were starting to mummify a little bit, which means like they start to curl. So they had been there for maybe a day or a few days or whatever. So I don't think nobody's going to know anything until they get the autopsy performed and figure that out from there. Who knows? I mean, it could have been just, I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but I hate that, his family has to go through that. Yeah, it's a shame, man. It's a horrible way to go. So anyway, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. We got about 25 people on here, which is a pretty decent crowd. Yeah. So we are going to talk about a couple things tonight. One of the main things I wanted to talk about was now you guys know I run a Patreon, and I'm not going to try and be hypocritical, but it may sound hypocritical with some of the topic tonight. But I wanted to talk about a lot of the Patreons basically doing the same thing. Hey Tyrone, how you doing? So there are probably hundreds, thousands of Patreons out there. I know just a few. You guys know just a few handful that are always on all the groups, and that we talk about quite a bit sometimes. And the basic ones, CA3D, myself. God, there's a bunch. I don't even want to get into listing them because there's so many out there. But the one thing that we've been talking about a lot in my Discord is we're starting to see the same stuff over and over again from the same companies. And I'm not going to point anybody out. That's not what I'm here to do. We're just here to talk about and kind of get your views on it, what you think about all this, because I look at it this way. A lot of people have multiple Patreons that they're subscribers to, and if you have like 1 month, just hypothetically speaking or whatever, or even 2 months in a row where you have like the same models from each one, maybe different poses or whatever like that. I mean, how does that make you feel when you're spending your money doing that and yet you're getting the same old models? Some people like it. Like I like it because Punisher is my favorite character. So I have like hundreds of Punisher models that I've done. And so I'm just a big Punisher freak like that. But I have to draw the line at some that are out there where people just basically put a white skull and white boots and gloves on a character and put him up on a rock while holding a machine gun, and that's the Punisher. I mean, there's some that I just don't have because of that very reason. There's just really nothing else to them. To me, I want something unique, and that's what I kind of try to offer in my Patreon a little bit, like a little bit of different take, like on the Punisher that we did, that I did in my Patreon. It's a little bit different than what you've seen. The Superman is not, because I was going for the classic look. The Batman was a little different as far as the base and everything. I wanted to do some switch outs on the chest emblems and stuff. And like Spider-Man, I got a Spider-Man coming up, but it's going to be kind of like just a classic one. There's so many Spider-Man out there now that's just crazy. But everybody's doing them. But I kind of wanted to do like a classic take on a few, and I wasn't really going to like when I do Spider-Man, I'm not going to go ahead and do like 20 others or anything like that. I'm going to move on to different characters, but um, I'm seeing people kind of doing the same thing. I'm going to see people like you see one Spider-Man, the next thing you know, there's like 6 or 7 that pop out. So it's crazy. Like we have a little discussion in our Discord, like, and I don't know how much validity there is to it, but I will announce a character and stuff on the Patreon page, and it seems like the next thing you know, it pops up everywhere. Like for example, I announced a Green Lantern that I was going to do, and like a couple of days later, there was like 4 or 5 that popped up everywhere. And the guys teased me about it, saying when you announce something, all of a sudden it just pops up everywhere. I think it's a coincidence, but I see everybody, like it seems like everybody gets together and goes, "Hey man, let's all do a Green Lantern this month." I know they don't do that, but what do you think about that? I mean, I got a lot of stuff popping up here in the chat here. You guys are starting early, so we'll kind of hold on there for a second. Let me kind of read some of this right here. Let's see. Rathan says that's a bad part about belonging to several. Each one wants to try their own take on a model, but if a person only belongs to one, it's not as big of a deal for them. Yeah, I agree there. And then Damien says, I wish someone would put out more horror related models. No one is really doing anything like that. It's all superhero and anime. So you need to check out Jules Modelato. He's doing a lot of the horror stuff and some pretty cool stuff. Now, I understand Jules is taking a little bit longer sometimes on some of the models. I heard that was an issue. I don't know. I love Jules to death. He's a swell guy, and he puts out some really killer stuff. And then Painted Miniature says, so happy to see Wicked as running a line of characters from the Spawn comics. So we had a discussion about that the other day in Discord about, running so many Spawn models and stuff. And while they're not either 3D Berserk or the Marvel or the Star Wars line, they're kind of tapping into that. So some people are excited about it. Some people are like, okay, enough Spawn. Um, the Wicked Spawns run has been dope. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, and yeah, and Conan. I announced Conan about a month or so ago, or a couple of months back, or whatever. And I haven't seen any at that time. And then the next thing I know, there's like 5 or 6 coming out. So Giovanni Cueves, I hope I pronounced that right. Hello, how are you doing, sir? Let me see. Let's see. Biggest time I see the same characters coming out at the same time from multiple sources is like when movies or shows release. That is correct. So um, let's go back to the Deadpool Wolverine movie. When that thing first hit, like everybody did a Wolverine and Deadpool, and I get it. And we'll talk about that. I mean, you guys know where I'm going with this. Let's see. Um, RL says, I agree with you, but I'm not going to lie. I can't get enough of Godzilla. That's cool. I mean, some people love that same character. They love people's different takes on him. I get it. Wicked Evil Dead this month. Yeah, Mike. That looked really cool. I mean, you don't see that very often. That's a different take on it. So that is something that's a little different. Simon says that everybody's doing Marvel Rival stuff. Well, I haven't seen any Marvel Rival stuff. I think I'll take it back. I've seen one, and it didn't look very good. It looked like maybe somebody was just maybe kind of working on it. But I would like to see a couple of the Marvel Rival stuff. I hope it's not oversaturated or anything like that in the market. And yes, part of that is capitalizing on trends. But we're going to touch a little bit base on some of that. So Super Shark, who has a Patreon themselves, you might want to go check them out, said that they just started a mythical tier to add some variety different from superheroes. That's really cool and refreshing. I like that. And he sent me a picture of the new one that they were working on and looks really good. Let me see. Yes, what is capitalizing on trends, what's popular in the media and being talked about, new, and so on and so forth. So I think more so than anything, I think it's what sells. So that's why that you kind of have to do what you got to do. And I totally respect that. As a Patreon creator, I'm finding out that, especially since I don't make the models myself, I contract out people to do them, that it's expensive. And then when you go in and you're not recouping any rewards from it, you're not making any money from it, and you're losing money or even breaking even, you kind of have to go sometimes with whatever sells, what's hot in the market, what's popular, the movie trend or anything like that. You kind of have to do what you got to do on that. I try to stay away from most of that. I try to put out characters that are like B-list characters or some people that you haven't heard of in a while, like we did Shadowhawk, we did Chuck Norris. Uh, I'm doing some of the GI Joe line. You don't see a lot of those everywhere. Did some Transformers, Gen 1 of them, and you don't see a lot of those everywhere. So I think it's tough to put out a Patreon these days with so many, especially being new to it. If you're not creating the models yourself, but it's very costly and you have to recoup something from it. So I totally get that part. Yeah, we did Long Shot and Grifter. Man, I keep forgetting about all those guys. Really cool models, but they're just not done a lot, so they're not very popular. I did not have like a plethora of people sign up for those models. I think the biggest jump that I had in my subscribers was around the time that I released the Captain America, the Ultimate Captain America, and the Red Hulk. I saw a huge jump in numbers on that. But like this past month, I just released Chuck Norris. La 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 la. God, I'm drawing a blank here. So I had I'm actually tonight after this live stream, I'm releasing the other couple of models, which is Conan and God, what else have I got? I don't even know what I have, and I'm just like dumbfounded here. Let's see. I have to look. Uh, Conan and Jigsaw and Chuck Norris. That's what we have this month. So I haven't had just a huge jump in subscribers or anything like that, which I'm okay with. I don't care. These are like, thank you guys so much because I'm an idiot. I'm being an idiot tonight. Which is okay because I really like these models. I like the take on them. Like I really wanted a Jigsaw model, and I kind of wanted him like he was influenced by like Tony Montana. Not gonna lie, I thought that was a cool one cool concept that we come up with. And then the Conan one, I've been wanting to do a Conan for a while. I'm a huge Conan fan. Probably not as big as some other people, but I really wanted a really cool model based off what I envisioned him as. And Enzo and I come up with this one that you guys will be getting tonight if you're a Patreon member. And then, of course, Chuck Norris. I think I said several months ago I wanted to do a Chuck Norris model. And so we come up with this one, and this one's really well detailed. And it's really, really nice model. So hope you guys enjoy that one. Now, I mean, the whole, I got other models that are coming out. I've actually already gotten some of the files. I'm actually jumping ahead a little bit or working ahead to be coming out with next month's marches and everything. And I'll be doing an announcement on that here in the next couple of days on what's coming up in March. But back to the subject at hand. So when you see several models of the same thing, what do you guys do? Do you like get everything, or do you just kind of wait and see what everybody's coming out with and pick out the one that you like the best to print? Or do you just download all the models that you can and then you decide, hey, I want to print this one out. This is the one I like best. I'm curious how they determine which one that they get. Or is it one of those things where you just like feel overwhelmed and you like, screw it, I'm not printing anything right now. I'm done with Patreon and so on and so forth. So Moto Mix says he picks the one he likes best. So yep. Let's see what else. Ralph said he loves the pics of the Conan I've been dropping. So yeah, it's a really nice model. I've downloaded it, loaded it up on the slicer and everything like that. I haven't printed anything yet, but it's going to be a really, really cool model when you guys print it out. So Scott says he downloads the models and then decides what to print. So I think that's what a lot of people maybe do. They kind of download everything and then they kind of decide what's best for them in their collection. Let me see. So he says, I tend to have my core Patreons that I've had my sub for years. Then I'll pick up one here and there for specific models. That's cool. I heard someone say on my Discord the other day that they stick with one Patreon. They one Patreon creator, and they know eventually they're going to get the model that they're looking for. So that's loyalty right there. That's really cool. I think that's probably what I would do. Now I'm still signed up with Wicked. I have been for over 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. I was like one of the first ones to sign up with them, and it's $10, so I really don't see it. They have a lot of models coming out. I think the Hulk versus Punisher is the one that I've printed out in quite some time for them. But again, I've downloaded all the models and I save them. And if I decide that I want to go back and I print one, then I'll do it. I have them there, so it's at my discretion whether I want to do it or not. I know that there's hundreds of those models that I'll never probably even open the file, but I've got them if I want them. That's the way I look at it. I'm almost out of disk space too. Let's see. Yeah. So Ralph says, patrons like mine, I download them all. Patrons like Wicked, although I love them, there's just way too many to store. I have to agree with you there. Southpaw, how you doing, buddy? Um, let me see. Yeah, well, here's where I was getting ready to touch on this. I'm glad you brought this up. Does make me wish more patrons would not hide their previews. Makes me less likely to sub for specific models. So whenever I put something on the Patreon page, I try to make it visible for everybody to see because again, you vote with your wallet, and if it's something that you want to get, then you'll sign up. If not, then you won't. I do say also that I get it where there might be something coming out this month that you just want, like the Conan model, and you're going to sign up for this month, and you get the Conan model and you bail. I'm okay with that. There's there's a lot of uprising from a lot of these Patreon creators that if you do that, they're going to like ban you, like they're going to put you in timeout or something to keep you from subscribing again to them. And I think it's kind of wrong. We've talked about it before, but I think that's kind of bogus. I mean, if you want one model, then get the model, and no need for sticking around for 3 or 4 months for something that you don't want. So yeah. Anybody like that here in the chat? Oh man. So let's see what everybody says. Um, Ryan says, I pick whatever model I think one of my friends or family members might like as a gift, and I have them paint it, or I paint it. So Ryan, do you ever print and paint anything for yourself? You're paying for it. Um, so yeah. So I try to take and just I don't know. I try to soak it all in, and if like there's Punisher models out there. Somebody just said something about the female Punisher that was just released. Who was that from? Um, Somebody in the chat let me know. It looks like Rhea Ripley. So no, I will not be downloading that one. I will not be painting that one. I will not be printing that one. That one's. I'm just waiting for somebody to put a bunch of fake tattoos on it and call it Rhea Ripley. Um, Yeah, loyalty, they will get to it at some point. East Sea Monster. And I know those guys do some great models. Um, but that one's definitely not for me. I know a lot of people have said sent me the picture or whatever like that, and I'm like, yeah, never, I'll never do that. Let's see. Scott says that I won't support someone who hides previews. I have just under 4 terabytes of models to print. Yeah, so I know a few people that are like that. If the Patreon does not post a preview of it and they just kind of make you guess or whatever, then basically they just kind of pass them up. Okay. So Southpaw says, I have some Patreons that are my staples. The others I kind of dink and dunk. Get it? Yep. Let's see. Mike says, send the female Punisher to you in the. I don't have it, Mike. I personally wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Hey, Batman Rod, how you doing? Oh, here's Hector. Hector is doing. I'm also learning to make the models myself. It's getting easier the more I practice. Obviously, that's cool. And so Glass Joe says blurred images on Patreons internally makes me turn away. Never understood why they do that. So I think it kind of has the. I think it kind of has the. They think it's going to have the effect of, "Ooh, I think I know what that is. I better sign up so I can get it." But I think they're kind of losing their way on that one because there's so many Patreons out there that have those possible models that show him. Then you could just they have their pick of the litter that you want. I mean, so there's no need to do that. Uh, I know in the beginning, before I understood how it was doing or whatever like that, I think I blurred out a couple of mine, but I went back and I made them accessible for people to see. I want you to see what you're getting before, you sign up to my Patreon, because if you don't like it, you don't like it, and you can always give me feedback so that way I kind of go off and do something different that maybe you guys are like. Now I get it, you can't satisfy everyone all the time, but again, I kind of go with the flow of what I would like to see, and I do look at maybe some other stuff that's being released and maybe come up in my Instagram feed or my Facebook feed, and I see what people are putting out, and I try to shy away from that and move into something different, because I know a lot of people have access to those models. And for the most part, I like to think that my audience wants to see something different. That's just me. Hey, Stuart. Uh, so here you go. If you guys want a Patreon who does it the right way, he makes all of his posts public. So, yeah. But if you get somebody, and I think we've talked about this a little bit in Discord as well, that you get some Patreon member or Patreon creators who rehash the same old models over and over again. I've seen a couple like that. Again, I'm not going to call them out, but I mean, how do you guys feel about that? They're just doing the same thing over and over again. Like I know one who has put out 4 Wolverines in the past 6 months. And to me, I mean, I love Wolverine, but not that much. And the bad thing is they're almost like in the same pose, but they're a little different. I mean, they're just a little different. So either the creator likes Wolverine or his group is going, hey, we want more Wolverine. So here we go. So I would sub more, print, paint more if I could figure out how to sell anything. Only so much display space, and there's so many amazing modelers out there. So one thing that you can do is there's several Facebook groups that you can get on to sell models and stuff. To be careful how you do it, because some creators don't like for you to. So it's the respectful thing just to find out that you're able to. Like when you sign up, when you look at the tiers and stuff like that in their Patreon page, they'll let you know whether it's okay to sell models or not. Me, I don't care as long as you're not mass producing them and making money off the money that we have for the work that we've done. So the boss says 10 Spawn models. Geez, yeah, there's a lot of Spawn out this month. A lot of Green Lanterns too, as Stuart pointed out. There's just it's a modeler's market right now, but I think the downside of this is with these creators putting out so much of the same thing, they're going to start turning people away. So you remember how like back in the 90s and early 2000s, the comic books were, when they started to get tons of foil covers, die cut covers, things like that. And there were just so many. Like you would get like a Superman book that would have 16 different covers, or a Spider-Man book that would have 8 different covers of the same kind. One would just be foil, die cut, so on and so forth, limited edition, different background color, things like that. And you saw what happened back in those days to comic books. Everybody hit a wall and they got it, just decided like, yeah, I'm done, because you're just overwhelming, so much overwhelming of the books and everything. So people just kind of got out of it altogether. Now you had people that were buying comics because they were investors. They wanted to flip books. Those people got out of it pretty quick because, again, it was oversaturated and they couldn't make any money off of it. Those people need to go away anyway. I don't see those kind of people with 3D printing, but I am seeing more and more of the thieves who are stealing the artwork from people and posting it on Etsy and these other sites. And I do see more people who are printing out models and half-ass painting them or whatever like that and posting for sale on eBay or whatever. A lot of them look terrible. So, but they're trying to make money off of it too. These are not true collectors. So you have that in any kind of hobby. Let's see. There are a few out there that do sell in, other than marketplace. Just look for 3D STL buy and sell. Put that in your search. I know there's a few groups that I'm part of. Um, Yep, same thing with action figures. They do the same model, do a different paint job. I've seen that before. And what about Hot Toys? How many Iron Man do they have? How many Iron Man figures do they have? What, 35? um, yeah, so one of the main guys from Tanuki Figures got one of his models stolen by a Chinese company to mass production. Really? Which figure was that? See, that's one thing that I know that is a big fear of a lot of creators is these Chinese companies coming in and like they'll use a fake name or something to sign up for your model and they'll wind up getting it and they'll like mass produce it. I mean, and you can't do anything about it because China doesn't recognize those type of laws. I mean, what are you going to do? Go to China and sue them? Um, let's see. The Frieza figure, I'll have to look at it and see. Um, yeah. So, like Paul, by the way, hello, Paul. Tired of endless variations of the same 10 characters. Yeah, that's kind of what we're getting at here. Um, so yeah. Um, well, this is good. I'm glad that you're doing this. Anytime you find a model you like on Etsy or eBay, go to the great links to find the original artist. Yeah. Yes, always support your artists. Don't support these guys who are basically thieving and they got like 300 models in their little Etsy store they're selling for $1.50. I mean, that's I've had to go on there and get some people, from selling mine. So, but everybody deals with it. Um, so yeah, but I mean, I get that, people need to make money in this hobby and stuff to support their hobby. It's kind of like you got to do something to help pay for itself. But at the same time, I mean, maybe connect with your audience, connect with your subscribers, and find out what they would like to have rather than the same Spider-Man and Wolverine model every other month. Like maybe do polls or whatever. I'm going to start doing some polls in mine because I don't want to do the same things that everybody else is doing. And I'm trying really hard, but it's difficult, because like if it, I don't even I usually announce models like a month and a half in advance, but I have to stop doing that because like when I do it, it's like the next thing I know, I don't know it's because it's on my brain or what, but the next thing I know, I'm like seeing the same model that I just announced, like with 6 different Patreons. So, and I don't want to be that guy who's like doing the same thing everybody else is doing. Um, let's see here. Um, the problem with the polls is people keep voting for the same characters. I guess you're right, Paul. That's probably why people don't do them. I think that, I mean, yeah, polls are tough, I guess, because if you put like 4 models on there to vote for, you can kind of guess who they're going to vote for. It's the popular characters, the Spider-Mans, the Wolverines, X-Men, Hulk, Captain America, or something like that. But I noticed too that if you put models up there that people are not familiar with, they just don't vote. Like, yeah, like if you were to put, let's say, Ming the Merciless from Flash Gordon. Like if you do a villain poll, and I thought about this, like if you do a villain poll, Ming the Merciless, and if you do Dark Side, who's fairly known, and let's say the Chameleon from Marvel, and maybe one other character that's not so well known, guess who they're going to vote for? They're probably going to pick Darkseid because they know who he is. The other guys, they're not going to say anything about those other characters. And so I think it's just one of those things that, it's kind of hard to do. Yeah, and I try to yeah, plus we talk about all we like to see on Discord all the time. I do like to try and do collections, if you will, like the GI Joes and the Transformers. I don't like now me personally. I won't join a Patreon if want to like a series of characters, like let's say GI Joe, and let's just hypothetically say that Wicked does one GI Joe and they don't do any more. Like, I won't print that out. I won't support it because I want to see a collection. Now, if you like that one-off character, then that's cool. Like for me, I like Darth Vader. I could care less about anybody else in Star Wars. I would like a really cool Darth Vader model because I think he's my favorite Star Wars character. So yeah. Yeah, you can include other options in the poll and see what others might add. If you just make an open poll of, hey, what do you guys want to see? It's going to be all over the place. And then you're going to have no definition of what is overwhelming that people want to see, because you'll have like everybody will have one vote because they're going to want to have just the one character that just up out of the blue that they don't have. So it's kind of hard to do it that way. Let's see. Stuart says he loves the Chuck. All right. All right. So here's KR3D Studio. What do you think about those Patreons that offer tons of models for $10? It's so hard to compete with that when you're just one guy studio and can afford 2 or 3 barely. So my take on that is, and Wicked comes to mind when you mention that. The one thing I think that they do that's a little unique is they offer the busts, the models, and then usually like some type of movie character or whatever like that. So when you think about that, really, I only picture the figures. I don't really take into consideration the busts. I don't like printing and painting a lot of the busts, but yeah, you gotta consider what these guys have over 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers, so they can afford to do that. But I think that it's overwhelming a lot of times with people. Like, I can't see anyone, not one single person, and I can't see one single person printing everything that they have. It's just too overwhelming. And I love those guys over there. They do some incredible work. And I've known Gabriel and all those guys over there for years. Swell guys will give you the shirt off their back. But yeah, for me, it's just a little too much. Like, I'll see something that I may like when they release it. I may download that one and maybe print later or something. But there's some stuff on there like I never would print, like the Super Mario stuff. A lot of the gaming stuff I just never would print. So no need for me to download it. So, but yeah, they have a lot of models. Those guys are workhorses, but you can never say that you don't have a selection, especially for $10. And they basically do it by quantity rather. I'm not saying they're quality sport, but they do it by quantity more than quality, I think. So yeah. Let's see. Like Wicked at one point didn't have polls, and I've been loving it. Mike says, okay, we can't be friends anymore. Quality over quantity. 2 good models is still worth it at some studios over the number being put out. That's correct. So I will look at a Patreon and go, man, that's a really badass model. It's well detailed, well crafted. I'd rather print that than, and even at like $15 a month, I'd rather print that than like 10 models that are kind of like, yeah, they look okay. But yeah, I'm totally into, the quality of the model. Um, let me see. All right. So if you do one model a month, knock it out of the park. You should be able to do more quality than the teams who have knockout 10 a month. Lufs Minch, or I can't pronounce it, is a good example of that. Um, I've heard of them. If it's who I think it is, they do like some really crazy, well detailed models, and you're absolutely right. I have been seeing some of the gaming models, the more intricate models from gaming and different, anime movies and stuff that people are doing like two, but they look so good. And then you look and their subscriber count is ridiculously high. They got a lot of people that support their work, which is great. I mean, there's no way I could sustain 10 models a month. I mean, there's just no way. That would drive me nuts. But so I try to pick out what I can, what I would like to, I think people would like to see, what I enjoy, and take it from there. But yeah, um, let me see. Yeah, so we're talking about Wicked here. I'm assuming they have great customer service. They're amazing people. So I will say this. I'll put these guys up against anybody in the business right now, and they have the best customer service. That's one thing you can't deny. Yeah, and plus, $10, it's a drop in the bucket for people. Like if you just do the whole, recurring uh, fee or whatever like that, payment every month, you don't miss it. It comes out of your bank account, you never know it. So yeah. Let's see. So these guys are mostly all World of Warcraft related characters. They better watch themselves. Who was that released the Space Marine model? I think gave it out for free, and World of War, or the Games Workshop went after them. Even though it was a free model, they went after him and they made him take it down. I think the guy got a cease and desist order from him. So Nerixon does some amazing models. Um, let's see. For me, like a variety of different models, it helps expand my skills as a painter. Okay, that's true. Um, was it Hell Creator? Yeah, that's who did it. Okay, yeah, and they make some good models. That was a good looking model. Um, I really like the detail in it. But yeah, I think they kind of went after them. Um, Simon Alvaro Stuardo is a good example of what we have a little bit of history with Mr. Whatever. Um, oh, who's this? Galactic Armory got a cease and desist, and then had it retract by Games Workshop. What did they have a cease and desist order on that you know of? Uh, oh, is that what it was? So they had a Warhammer up and got the cease and desist, and then put it up for free after they got that. But I know they had to take it down even when it was free. Warhammer helmets, they got uh, Galactic Armory got a cease and desist on Warhammer helmets. Those guys are relentless, man. It's not Marvel and DC you got to look out for. It's Games Workshop. Wow. So they must have like one or two people who are like on the internet 24/7 looking for their models, um looking for people with uh their property and stuff, and just, oh, well, here we go. Let's get an order written up and send it to them. Oh man. Let's see. What have done purchase? So Wicked's customer service, here's an example, reached out to them about an issue with texture mismatch on both legs. They responded and supplied the fixed leg within 2 hours. Yeah, they get right on it. You know, if there's something going on with a model, they'll fix it like right away. Yeah, what gets them into trouble is when they're selling the model. But again, to my understanding, I think Hell Creator was giving the model away, letting people download it, and they still went after them. So I don't know if it's because they started to sell it and then um, they went after them because of that, and they just said, you know, hey, now that you're not selling it, we still want it gone. Um, yeah. Let's see. If I look at my STL collection, 5K plus models and what I printed, 5,000 models is a lot of models, dude. How many Patreons are you a member of? Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot. Um, well, thank you, Tune. I appreciate it. Um, I really appreciate that. Oh, by the way, guys, while you're here, do me a favor, go smash that like button for me. Kind of gets the algorithm going and gets the video out there in front of other people. I could use that. After the cease and desist order, they gave it away as a bonus. Hey, Figure Kit Garage, how you doing? Welcome aboard. First time in. Um, yeah, so Wicked doesn't care about you selling printed copies, which is cool. I know they understand that, you know, in order to keep people sometimes around or whatever, money's tight, and selling a couple of prints or whatever can help you fund your hobbies. So yeah. Um, let's see. But yeah, so I don't want to like offend any creators or whatever, but I would love to challenge them to start looking into deeper into like the DC universe, the Marvel universe, if that's where they're kind of getting their inspiration from, and looking into some of the other characters that you rarely see, that you probably wouldn't even know, and take a chance on one of those, a couple of those a month and see what happens. I would venture to say that you would probably pick up more subscribers by doing some less known characters rather than doing the same thing over and over and over again. Um, uh, let's see. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. Um, Wicked probably knows they do also leech from other people's work. To be honest, I have seen some of that where um, I don't want to say questionable or whatever, but yeah. Let's see. Wicked banned you for criticizing their imminent release. The guy who handles the support blew up on me out of nowhere. Well, you must have said something pretty offensive to their model or whatever. I don't know what you said. We won't get into it, but yeah, I mean, artists don't like people to trash their work. I mean, if you disagree with something on it, I think you can voice that pretty simply. But if you start dogging it and trashing it and saying all kinds of stuff about it, don't look to get a nice response from them. Yeah, so Glass Joe agrees with me. um, wow, let's see. So yeah, man, I mean, I actually sometimes find myself going like looking at I'll do a Google search, less known Marvel characters. And there's some that pop up on there. I'm like, man, I have not heard about them in years. Um, I'll give you an example. Gladiator. So when you think of Gladiator, you probably think of the space dude with the cape and the little, what is he, like, green purple outfit suit or whatever like that. And he's like a Martian looking guy, right? So there's actually another Gladiator, a guy that's got like a helmet on. He's got like saw blades here on his wrist, and he wears like a yellow suit. He's like a big buff dude. Um, Bowen actually is the only one that I've seen to do a model of him, and that was from several years ago. Um, yeah, so I mean, characters like that, that dude looked really cool. I think he would do really good as a model for somebody. Hell, I may do him myself, and I don't think people even know who the hell he is. But if you're old school guy, Marvel person, then you would know who I'm talking about. Like, why can't we get Vigilante from DC? Like the comic version, not the TV version. I don't think anybody's done him. Yeah, Night Thrasher, White Tiger. There's so many out there. Yeah, it's crazy. Um, let's see here. Somebody asked me a question. What is my opinion on Polymind's new Punisher release? I love those guys over there. Um, they put out really good models and stuff. It's a nice model. I being a Punisher fan since 1986. I mean, it's one of those that it's like I'm not going to say anything bad about it, but it's one that I would probably print out, put in my collection. I'll probably do it like at a 1/6 scale. But I have a lot that are like that with the white gloves, the white boots, the skull on the chest, and he's holding a machine gun. There's a lot out there like that. So I'm always looking for something totally unique, totally different, something that somebody's thinking out of the box in order to do. And I mean, that's the ones I really get excited about. It's a nice model. I'll print it and paint it. Doesn't just make me go, holy crap, that's just amazing. But it's a good model. It looks really good. Let's see. I'd like to see more characters from horror movies. I'm so over the superhero stuff. Give me some werewolves, vampires, and creatures. Daryl, I would love to do that in my Patreon. Like, I would love to do things like, I'm not going to say Universal monsters because those are copywritten. Those are by Universal Studios. And so we don't want to get in any trouble doing that. But I would love to do a line of my own creation. But again, when you start doing stuff like that, people aren't familiar with, they're kind of like, I don't want anything like that. That's not what I'm used to. And they tend to shy away from it. And the next thing you know, you're putting out 2 or 3 models a month and nobody's subscribing, and it costs you money. And then you get to the point to where you can't afford to do it anymore. So that's an unfortunate thing. Somebody's still waiting for Ultimate Spider-Man. Yep, I got the file. He looks really good. Super excited about him. Let me see. It's hard to look for secondary characters because people always want the main. In my case, a lot of Leon and Jill out there, but I create Miora Burton, Donna Bienvenido for March. Hope they like it. That's cool. That's very noble. It's definitely not something that you see every day, and I wish you the best of luck with it. Let's see. Let's see. It's the side characters that made an impression on you that do it for me. Could have been one scene, but they made an impression. Benny from Total Recall. There you go. Yeah, Bowen had them all, man. So I am a huge Bowen fan. I don't have a lot of his pieces. I stopped collecting them because people got stupid ridiculous with the prices on them. I refuse to pay $700, $800 for a 1/7 scale figure just because it's it's not one that you see out there all the time. That's insane to me, and I will never do that. So yeah, New Mutants, New Warriors, Alpha Flight. I would love to have an Alpha Flight in my collection. I would love to. I love that comic. New Mutants is another good one. Hulk versus Punisher was pretty good. Yeah, that thing is a monster. I'm still working on it. Hey, Sarge is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Sam Raimi Spider-Man, yeah. But that's where you mix and match one Marvel or one Joe, then your own project that's different. That's kind of what I try to do. Um, yeah, so Wicked did dip their toes into the Universal monsters with Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon. I'm not sure they're going to do the rest. They did have Dracula too. I did not see a mummy. Did they release a mummy? I'm not sure. Um, let me see. It would probably benefit to do a main character and then a cool B character only to keep everyone happy. Yeah, so I think that's what a lot of people do. They kind of release like a main character, then maybe something different that they like or whatever. Then there's some companies who, like I said, they release the same thing over and over again, different variations or whatever. Um, I thought they did a Dracula. I thought they did a Bela Lugosi. Pretty certain they did. Um, yeah. How's the 1/1 Punisher going? So I was getting ready to print the torso out, and my TF card pretty much went on the fritz. It said I had to reformat it after all that I downloaded onto there. So I got to get another one of those, and then I'll start printing on it. Big O says he'd love to see an Odin model. Haven't seen many of those. Who just released an Odin? It was what was I can't remember his name. Somebody come help me. He just released an Odin model. We just talked about it in the Discord. You guys have to forgive me, man. I got so much running through this brain of mine. It's like a BB in a box car rolling around up there. I'm old. I can't remember everything. Yeah, I thought they did. They did it a while back. Yeah, VS3D did a mummy. Yeah. Um, yeah, they did the mummy. Who did the Odin? I can't remember the guy's name. I'm gonna have to look this up now. It's gonna eat at me. It looked really good too. He does a lot of his stuff in like museum poses. Stalin Quinto, that's it. Yep, yep, that's who did it. Very good model. Very, very good model. Looked really cool. It's striking. It was simplistic, and it looked really good. Um, Loot Studios did a really good Odin. I have printed him out. Okay. So Loot Studios is one of those companies that I wish that they would do larger models. I'd love to print out some of their fantasy stuff, like the monsters and things like that. I mean, I would really like to, and I've mentioned it on here before in previous podcasts that or previous live streams that I would love to do like some Egyptian type stuff, some type of history type stuff. I would love to do like Civil War characters, old Western stuff. I mean, some of that stuff you don't see. And I thought it'd be really cool. I actually, tell me what you guys think. I'm actually considering in for April in doing the Lone Ranger and Tonto. Tell me what you guys think. I love those as a kid. And I'm not talking about the Johnny Depp version. I'm talking about the old version from the TV show. Yeah, CA3D has a lot of Egyptian Greek gods. Now I know that what is it? ARH Studios is they're doing statues though. He does a lot of, or he did a lot of the old, Alexander the Great, Achilles, and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, Tombstone. Tombstone is right up there with one of the ones I want to do, and I'm probably going to do one of those in either April or May. Um, okay, Rythan says, "Oh yes, do it." It's Tanto, Tonto. But yeah, I'm seriously thinking about doing that. I really like it. I'm not going to do the horses. The horses are just way too big. That would be a huge model to do. I don't know. I'll think about it, but really thought about doing that. Again, I thought about doing some Civil War pieces. Yeah, VS3D did Tombstone. I'm not gonna base mine after the movie characters. I don't want to. I don't, I'm still thinking about it. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh man, you got to do the movie. You got to do the movie." I was kind of wanting to do it based off the like old pictures of the historical movie, characters. Godzilla, Godzilla. I see a lot of them, man, and they're so good. Um, let's see. Remember when GI Joe was 12 inches tall? Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll look into the Godzilla thing again. Like Godzilla is one of those characters that if you do him, he should be done. You do one, you've seen them all. I mean, there's not much changing with Godzilla over the past, what, 50, 60 years, except for a couple of those horrible movies that they had. Knight Rider. I mean, to me, Knight Rider was the car, not David Hasselhoff. 18, maybe. We've talked about it um, in the Discord, but yeah. Um, so here's a good one. So he's saw the render of Jim Braddock. What about JJ McQuaid? So it was a toss up between the two because I wanted to do a cool Chuck Norris figure, and I really wanted to do the missing in action one a little bit more. So I don't foresee any JJ McQuaid in the future, but you never can tell. Um, let's see. Sarge said he did the 1964 Godzilla, didn't care for it because he wanted the new one. Okay, Young Frankenstein. mm, not my really my cup of tea on that one. Maybe the Frankenstein itself, but not the characters to go with it. Um, yeah, do Kit and Michael standing next to it. Honestly, I think it would be boring. Um, but yeah, I know that I've seen quite a few Bruce Lee models out there. Uh, so I don't know if I'll be doing a Bruce Lee model anytime soon. I like the idea of like maybe some of the Civil War characters, just some history type stuff. I don't want to disrespect any of our veterans or anything like that. So that's one reason why I've kind of held off on stuff like that. I know it's a touchy subject, but that's one reason why I haven't really brought up anything from like the Vietnam era or anything like that, or any type of, well, military stuff. Big Trouble in Little China. I would really like to do Jack Burton and Lopan and the three dudes with the hats. That would be cool. I still want to do Carl from Sling Blade. Yeah, and I'm gonna probably wind up doing him or making that model. Yeah, so absolutely. The other thing that I kind of want to like mention, and again, I don't want to piss anybody off or whatever, but one thing you're not going to see in my Discord is these over sexualized female models. I know that's big with people. I think we had a talk about that on Discord as well. If you're a Patreon member, you got to get in Discord, man. We have all kinds of conversations about stuff like that. And we were talking about that, how like some of these models they're just money grabs. I mean, if that's your thing or whatever, that's fine. But I don't see a lot of people printing these models out. So that maybe kind of somebody made the joke on there. Well, maybe they're just downloading the renders and just kind of like, mm. I think maybe that's the case. Um, Stallone from Cobra. I think somebody just did that one too. They did the Rambo, Stallone from Cobra, or the Cobretti, and the over the top figure. all in one. Still looking for some decent models for Firefly, although there's some River models around already. Oh, you're talking about the show Firefly. CA3D did it. Okay. Yeah. Yes, our Discord is awesome. There are some really awesome people on there. A lot of good guys on there that gives you help, advice, sharing their work and stuff. It's not toxic at all. Everybody has fun on there. We encourage each other and we welcome all walks of life. So, yeah. Let me see what else. So yeah, let's try this here. What is, and I'm probably going to get like all kinds of responses at one time. What is a lesser known character that you would want to see um, that has probably never been done or rarely been done? Think about it. Don't just pop out the A Team or whatever like that. Think of one character, not a group, not a TV show or anything like that, but think of the one character that you would probably absolutely kill for that hasn't been overdone, hasn't been hardly done. Just that one that you're just like, man, I'm just waiting for that awesome model for somebody to do it. I'm just curious. I'm not saying that we're going to do it in the Patreon or anything like that. I'm just curious what you guys, what's going on in that head of yours. So man, here we go. Iron Fist doesn't count. It's a model that's been done to death. Demi Goblin doesn't count. I'm just messing, you guys. You can say whatever you want to. But I'm talking like deep cuts here, like real deep in the stuff that's not been done pretty much at all. There we go. Helen Slater, Supergirl. That's one. Dog Soldiers. I said one model, not a group. Toad from X-Men. I just seen Eric Sosa's, but they're selling it as a statue, an overpriced $2,000 statue. It's ridiculous. Mulan. Okay, there we go. Razor X, Marty from Back to the Future and his hoverboard. All right, now we're diving deep. There we go. We're on the right path. I'm digging it. Annihilus. Yes, thank you, Carmen. That dude is so friggin' awesome. Slain, 2000 AD. Perry White. Okay. Kidda from the Blood of Heroes. Okay. I'm not familiar with Zardos. Who is that? See, I stumped some of you guys. You're having to put your thinking cap on. Yeah, deep cuts, man. These are good ones. I like the Annihilus. I don't think I've seen one model of him and I didn't like it. But he would be a killer character to do. Hornswoggle, J. Jonah Jameson. I did see a custom statue of him and it looked horrible. His legs were so friggin' long. Oh my God. And they were selling that thing for like $1,800. It's ridiculous. Rogue Trooper. Okay. I think I saw one of those before, but yeah, it's not a one that you see all the time. See who else. Keep them coming, guys. So I mentioned one. I mentioned the Gladiator. There we go. Rachel Summers, Phoenix from Excalibur. That's a different figure. That's a good one. That style. Isn't that the one that had the kind of, she had like the little spikes in her head or something like that? Strong Guy from X Factor. That's a good one. Nemesis the Warlock. I'd love to see Nimrod. It's a very simple character. I know it's been done before, but I would love to see a good Nimrod. Tron. Okay. Abomination. ROM. I think somebody just put out a ROM. Lady Sif, Rush Al Ghul from the animated series. I'm sure VS3D is probably going to wind up doing that one. Multiple Man. Okay. Spider-Man or Wolverine. No, there's too many. Death's Head 2099. Been a long time since I heard of that one. Flash Gordon. At least you didn't say Flesh Gordon. The Creeper from DC, the guy with the big fuzzy green hair or whatever. Yeah, isn't he dead in the DC though? In the DC universe? Who was the guy from the Super Friends? The Indian guy, the Native American guy, hey, Nick Chuck. What was his name? Who was the part of the Super Friends? He was kind of a plain character. I've never seen him in anything else. I loved him growing up as a kid. I cannot remember his name. Apache Chief. Yeah, it was something simple. Yeah. He was kind of one of those characters that, you just had to love. Bill Bixby as the Hulk, or just Big Bill Bixby? Thunderbird, Apache. Fezzik. Okay. Yeah, he did. He grew up into a giant. That's right. Yeah. What about the Super Friends? Yeah. I don't think Super Friends would be a good one. So you guys got the idea. I mean, there's a lot of characters. Joe Fixit. Yeah, you don't see too many of him. There's a lot of characters out there that you guys can try to encourage these Patreon creators to make. I mean, put the bug in some of their ears if you want to see something different. Doom Lord, anything from Image Comics. Yeah, we started on that. Elf Quest has not been done yet. Okay. Sasquatch from $6 Million Man. SWAT Cats. I'm not familiar with SWAT Cats. I think I may know who they are. Whatever you do, don't say My Little Pony, because if you do, you're in the wrong group. Gru the Wanderer. Yeah. Was it Sergio Aragones, or whatever his name is? Dr. Claw's a good one. Yellow Jacket. Elsa Bloodstone. Yeah. So yeah, there's a bunch out there, man. So this kind of makes me kind of think about maybe something I can dive deep into and maybe pop out for an upcoming month. And just test the waters and see how it works. Some people will dig it, some people won't. Undertaker. No, we're not doing wrestling figures. I would love to have somebody to do a wrestling line. I would probably buy every single one of them up, but my artists are not likeness artists. They don't do likenesses all that great. And I think when you start talking like WWE and wrestlers and stuff, you have to get that spot on. So whatever happened to PCS's line? They put out Ric Flair, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Steve Austin. They were making all these, and then they just stopped all of a sudden. I mean, why? Anybody have any idea? And no, we're not doing Fraggle Rock. Inspector Gadget, maybe. That would be cool. Fraggle Rock, no. Anybody know about the PCS thing? Because I know what's his name? I can't remember the guy. Name is Hassan or whatever, who did the likenesses for those models, and they were just incredible. The paint could have been a little bit better. But again, when you start putting out mass-produced statues, then you're going to get what you get. But yeah, I would have loved PCS to continue that line. I've actually considered buying those. They're ridiculous in price right now, but I'm not going to buy them just if they're not going to continue the line, and it doesn't look like they're going to continue. I would love to have like a group of wrestling statues. That would be cool. but just for like, I think there was one that I saw, and it might have been Hulk Hogan who looked really, really off. And I think that's because they used a different artist. Um, yeah, so they did. They had a three variant Undertaker. They had one from like one of the WrestleManias, I think that he did. The purple suit, the purple and black, and then they had like the blue and black or something. But I don't, did those ever come out? Who the hell is El Santo beating up a vampire? I don't know who that is, Simon. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, the PCS WWE models would be cool just if they continue the line, but no, not sure if they were ever released. I may have to do a search for them later on and see if they were. So there's a lot of Nova models on there. It hadn't been done in a while, but there's a lot of Nova models out there. Yep. Let's see. James Bond. Yeah. My son would like that. He's a big, huge James Bond fan. I think I've never seen a Hush villain from DC. Isn't that Prime One's territory? El Santo is a masked Mexican wrestler. Some luchador wrestlers would be cool because of the masks and stuff. They would be fun to paint. I know that they're going to probably have a lot of models from Marvel coming up soon with all these Marvel universe movies coming out relatively soon. Um, oh, okay. So no, that's just it. Figure kit. There was none of the wrestlers on there listed at all. I don't know if maybe did WWE pull the license from them or something. I don't know. Shatterstar from X Force is a good one. So here's a question: what's the longest time it took me to finish a diorama, knowing you could have finished it sooner? Um, 2.5 years. um, the the Juggernaut and Colossus diorama, I still have not finished the base. I'm still like working on it. Um, and that's one thing that I'm doing right now is I'm try not to print anything else right now. There's a couple things that I got that I need to finish up pieces or whatever, but I've got so much stuff printed now and incomplete projects that I need to finish. Oh, now Quinn, you got me on that one. Microchip from Punisher. You know I'm going to print. You know I'm going to make one day. I actually collect 1/6 scale figures as well, and I do customs. And I need to show it to you guys sometime. I'll take a picture and post it on Discord. But I did a 1/6 custom of Microchip from a Winston Churchill head sculpt, and it turned out really, really cool. Um, the Venom diorama, no, part of it broke. I've got part of it I had to reprint back out. Yeah, most wouldn't know who he is. If you go Microchip, they'll be like, "Who the hell's that?" Um, the Blackest Night, Brightest Day, that'll be a good crossover. I think there's actually some Patreon I saw that was doing that. I can't remember the name. I'll have to post it in Discord. I'm not 100% sure. Um, yeah, but I've got models in here that I printed 2.5 years ago that I have not finished. and I need to finish them. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Ryan says he just finished printing Red Lantern Bleeze at 150 scale, 6 months. Technovore from Marvel. Yeah, there's a lot of good models out there, man. But yeah, I think eventually I am probably just gonna knuckle up and just do a couple of these random models that I just want, like the monsters or something. When I was a kid, I used to draw just random monsters and just creative type stuff. And I have actually a couple of pictures back from those days. And, and I was looking at a couple the other day and it just made me think, man, if you could just do some really cool, imaginative stuff like that and people would like latch onto it, that would be just an awesome Patreon. If somebody could do something like that, all original characters, and people really got into it, it would be super cool. Super cool. Okay. So that Undertaker is the only one that Sideshow has listed from PCS. Is it still listed? What's my take on Voltron? Um, I would love to print it. Megs and Panado did one, and it looked really, really good. I would love to print it, but man, that would take so much time to do. As a kid, was constantly drawing Captain Future. Yeah. Yeah, see, that's the problem right there, man. $710 for that model. That's insane. Or for that statue. That's insane. That's why I'm just like holding out for somebody to actually that can do the likenesses of these wrestlers, and I can just do them myself. So it's been 3 months, still waiting for the GK3 Pro to arrive. What is happening? I have no idea, sir. I have cut all ties with Uniformation. I think a lot of people have, a lot of creators have. That company is on a one-way downward spiral in the toilet. And I can't say that I'm sad about it. I'll just leave it at that. But I know the GK3, not the Pro, but the Ultra is garbage. Yeah, and a lot of people agree with me. Street Sharks, I think we've talked about that one. I've seen somebody do them before. I probably wouldn't do anything with those. But yeah. So needless to say, we got a lot of different opinions on models and stuff, which is really, really cool. Yeah, a lot of variety on here, which is pretty neat. Snowbird from X-Men. Is it from X-Men, or are you talking about the one from Alpha Flight? For $710, I can get John Cena on Cameo. Oh man, that's scary. Simon, you're right. Monsters are great to improve your painting skills. Yes, they will challenge you. The different textures of the models themselves. Oh man, yeah, I love printing monsters and creatures and stuff like that. Again, being a YouTuber, I would love to print those, and do videos for them, but nobody wants to see them, unfortunately. Um, yeah. Uh, Typhoid Mary. I'm actually doing the BioBreed Punisher with Jigsaw, Bullseye, and it has Typhoid Mary on it as well. He's actually got her head crushed into the ground. I remember I spent like $1,200 on a Broly statue with Goku. Ugh. that Punisher model that PCS has out, it's $1,500. And I thought to myself, do I really need it that bad? Oh man. Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, like been doing figure kits since 90 and the selections exploded. You remember back then, man, when it used to be just so simple? I mean, somebody would put out a garage kit. You would have to like fix things on it because the casting wasn't all that great. And but man, that was just the best time ever to paint a garage kit, put it together, and then Horizon come out with those ugly ass vinyl model kits. I think I still have a couple, but those were so fun to paint. I mean, you have to take like a hair dryer half the time when they come in because they were warped. You have to straighten them out. Those were the days, man. So much fun. And that's how Randy Bowen got started, was doing garage kits. So ARH too. So the funny thing is, ARH released a handful of Punisher models back in those days, and they were ugly as hell, but they were super rare. And I got them all, and I got them built. I actually built mine. I got a buddy who has them, but he still has them not put together. He just didn't want to do it because he figured it would be like a collector's item. So, uh, uh, Filippo says it's a big pain because once you start collecting statues, you can't stop. I have to disagree with on that one because the prices, the shipping charges, and the toxicity of some of these groups have run a lot of people away from those. I mean, I know a lot of people have stopped collecting statues. Um, oh yeah, the geometric horizon Billikens and stuff, man. I got a few of those running around here somewhere. My first true model that I ever put together and painted was the Batman and Robin one, the plastic one from Rimco. You guys remember that one? Probably well before your time. But it was the Rimco one. It had the Batman. He was like coming down off a tree, and Robin was on the other side of him, and he was like, yeah, that thing, man. I used so much friggin' model glue on that thing. It was crazy. And then I remember the old Kiss models from the Destroyer front cover, album cover. I think it was Rimco that had those out too. Those were pretty cool. And then the first superhero model I think that I ever painted was that Horizon Thor. No, I take it back. It was the Horizon Captain America, and I actually painted that for Aaron Brock 20 something, 30 years ago. Yeah, crazy. Um, okay, here we go, Dave. When Jules gets caught up, I'm happy that my suggestion of the Max finally was chosen. That'd be a good model. He'll do it justice. Oh, I remember that one. I had that one too, but I never built it. Yeah, never built it. You got the Superman punching a wall still. That was a cool one. Yeah, I had the Superman and Muhammad Ali model, and I can't remember. It was a bootleg model. It wasn't a Rimco or something like that. But I had that model, and man, that thing come in and it had freaking holes all in it, and I was puttying up that thing, and I think I got so frustrated with it, I just chunked it in a box somewhere, and I have no idea where that thing has been, and that's been over 30 years ago. I have not done any Pokemon figures. No. Yep. Yeah, the castings back in those days, like you didn't have like the pressure pots or anything like that. You just you had some silicone that was brittle as hell, and then you finally just once you like casted one or two of those garage kits that was done for, you had to throw the molds away. But some people didn't throw the molds away; they just kept reusing them and just had holes all in the casting, and you had to like fill them up with Bondo or whatever kind of putty you had. Yeah, the stair step steam seam lines. Yeah. Like one leg would be like shifted like this and it would never be right. And so you'd have to sand that down, fill it up. Oh man, it was horrible, but it was fun. Oh man, searching some good Patreons for Pokemon and can't find any. That is because wherever the makers of Pokemon is will come after you. There's a few out there, but I know one um, there's one Patreon that did Pokemon, and I can't remember, but he used the Pokemon name in the title, and that dude got sued. Yeah, and he's gone bye bye. Yeah, he is gone. So they went after him. So I'm not sure. That's been a couple of years ago. All right, guys. So we touched a little bit about on the subject at hand. I think I voiced my opinion on it, and I didn't mean to disrespect anybody or whatever. I would love to see some of these these Patreon creators dive deep into some of these other characters because they got some incredible models. They got some really good artists who do them. But instead of chasing the money for a couple of months, why don't you chase some of the characters and stuff? Do it for the love of the character and see what happens. You may be surprised. You may hit on something that just is a home run. I think over the next couple of months, I'm going to kind of look into it myself and see what happens. I do have March's lineup already ready to go. April, I'm looking into that one now. So we'll wait and see. But I'm going to get off here, guys. I've got some models I got to send out to my Patreon members tonight. And remember, if you like the Conan model, you can get in on it tonight. I'm releasing it, and I'm sending the Conan. And I already did the Chuck Norris model, but I'm sending out the other two tonight, and can't wait for you guys to get them. And I'd love to have you over on the Discord and hang out with us and stuff if you're a member. So yeah, love to see you guys over there. One quick question. After Duke, what GI Joe am I thinking about? Probably Cobra Commander, because I wanted to do the leaders and kind of get those out of the way. But yeah, Spider-Man is done, sir. Spider-Man is done, and he will be coming out next month. All right, guys. Thank you guys for coming in tonight and hanging out with me and listen to me rant a little bit and everything. And I appreciate your support. And again, hopefully you guys join the Patreon. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. And everybody have a safe and happy night. And I'm going to go back some of these suggestions here and put in some thought into it and see what we can come up with over the next couple of months, guys. So remember to stay safe out there. Get out and create something. Print, prep, paint, repeat. And until the next live stream, the next video, everybody, have a good night, and we'll see you.